I'm Adrienne Fast, Curator of Art and Visual Culture at the Reach Gallery Museum in Abbotsford, BC. Welcome to the second part of our video tour for our Summer 2022 exhibition, Game Culture. This exhibition brings together the work of 4 contemporary Canadian artists with objects and photos from the Reach's historical collections to ask questions about the ways that games and sports have shaped both our individual and our collective identities. Part 1 of this video tour introduced the work of artists Mallory Tolcher and Willms, and now I'd like to turn to the work of artists Morneau and Nathalie Quagliotto. Visitors to the exhibition are usually immediately struck by the bold pink gallery space that displays the Queer Newfoundland Hockey League, a fictional hockey league created by artist Morneau. Represented through a series of handmade jerseys and accompanying hockey cards, the league is comprised of 14 teams whose names combine actual place names from Newfoundland and Labrador with words that have been used as slurs against the LGBTQIA+ community. Hence, for example, the Fogo Island Fag Hags or the Fairyland Fairies. The artist notes that such words are also often used as insults against male athletes in sports like hockey, where rigid ideas of masculinity are celebrated and reinforced. Here, Morneau seeks to reclaim these terms both on and off the ice. To create the jerseys, Morneau taught himself crochet and rug hooking, craft techniques that are commonly considered women's work. Some jerseys are even made using pantyhose worn by drag performers, and the hockey cards that accompany the jerseys feature Morneau and his gallery assistant in a variety of male, female, and gender non-conforming personas, as a further challenge to the homophobia and hegemonic masculinity of mainstream sports culture. Morneau has also created 10 crocheted goalie masks, stylized as doilies, to accompany the Queer Newfoundland Hockey League. These goalie doilies reference the introduction of the goalie mask and its first full-time NHL user, Jacques Plante, who was mocked and ridiculed for wearing the protective gear. The artist also requested that the walls in this space be painted what is called drunk tank pink, an intense color that psychologists experimented with in the 1960s and 70s, believing it could lower a person's heart rate, pulse, and respiration. Although the science behind these claims is questionable, nevertheless, drunk tank pink was deployed not only in correctional facilities to try to calm aggressive inmates, but also in some small town hockey arenas, where it was reserved exclusively for the locker rooms of opposing away teams. With Morneau's exhibition space painted bright pink, and Mallory Tolcher's works on the opposite side of the gallery displayed on sky blue walls, the exhibition seems to present dueling girls' and boys' nurseries, a reminder that the qualities we assign to different colors are social constructs that begin to work on us from a very early age. Nearby, in a gender-neutral yellow space, are 2 interactive works by Montreal-based artist Nathalie Quagliotto. Her work tends to deal more with playground games and equipment rather than professional sports, but I felt it was important to include these works in the exhibition because so much of what we understand and expect of sports and games is first communicated to us on the playground as children. Quagliotto often reconfigures and recontextualizes everyday, prefabricated objects that are typically associated with games and sports in order to disrupt conventional expectations of behavior. Maturity Turn, for example, is a sculpture made out of 2 fused sets of tic-tac-toe panels, like those found on children's playgrounds. Quagliotto notes that playgrounds were historically designed to offer challenging play opportunities for children in poorer neighborhoods, in the belief that it would make the user or player more productive later in life. Quagliotto challenges the value of play as a means of social reform by doubling and fusing 2 panels together, turning tic-tac-toe into XOXO, or hugs and kisses. Thus, Maturity Turn becomes a game of intimacy and affection, rather than of competition. In Doubled Persistence, the artist invites 2 people to step up onto the green with a putter and ball, and to simultaneously aim for the same target. This piece references the game of mini-golf, a low-stakes, child and family-friendly variation on a highly competitive and professional sport. By reconfiguring the game's structure to render the competition between players both explicit and entertainingly ridiculous, Quagliotto challenges both the goals of the game and our reasons for engaging in the first place. Why are we taught that the essence of play is defeating another player? Why can't the goal be a shared sense of fun? Nearby, there are photographs and objects from the Reach's historical collections that highlight the involvement of Indigenous and other racialized people in the history of sports and games in the Fraser Valley. For example, a photograph taken around 1920 shows a number of men from the St'alis community participating in canoe racing, an activity that has deep historical roots in Stalo culture and which continues to be greatly popular today. Also on display are two photographs taken at the Tasman internment camp, where Japanese-Canadian men interned there are shown participating in sumo wrestling, ironically held on Dominion Day celebrations. It's important for us to display photographs like these not only because it reflects that different groups and communities have been involved in shaping sports culture in the Fraser Valley forever, but also to try to address the gaps in our own historical records. Because of the ways that photographs tend to come into collections, we often know more about who took the photos than who is pictured in them, and hence, in both of these examples, the people represented are recorded only as unnamed. But even while the exhibition has been on display, people from St'alis have visited the exhibition and have been able to identify family connections that may help us improve the historical record. It's important to remember that just because an artist or a person in a photograph is listed as unknown in an archive or museum does not mean that they are unknown to everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about the exhibition Game Culture. Be sure to visit the Reach if you're in Abbotsford and check out our other curatorial videos on our YouTube channel.